There you are. Morning everybody. This is going to be number 3. A lovely autumnal, well actually it's late summer, looking up the River Teign. Lovely beautiful golden colours there. You know, so that's what we're going to be doing. There it is. Now to get a good look at this properly, just click on the description box below or press a little arrow. Right, now we're going to get on. Rolling! You've seen the still and you've seen the finished article. Now we're going to see Maestro complete the job. Okay, now that's shed line drawing. This is a nice little sunset view up the River Teign. Lovely part of the world. Lovely river to paint. Reason being, even though it's on the south coast, it flows from west to east. So the sun will go down over the moor. So as we look up the river towards Dartmoor, that's where the sun will go down, giving us this lovely sunset, which I'm going to depict with the magic hairy sticks. There we are. Look at that. This is, remember, this is my clean wash brush, which I only use for putting washes on. Therefore, we're going to get a perfect, what's it called? Now that's my water. Now I'm going to nurture this for a couple of minutes, like this. Remember, this is how you nurture it. Nicely, nicely, not like this. You do it nicely, look. Oh, it's beautiful, it's beautiful. It's all ready for me to go now. What we're going to attempt here is what's known as a variegated wash. Or variegated, I don't know, I call it variegated anyway. Which means we're going to take one colour up and then bring another colour down. That's a variegated wash, and what I call a variegated wash anyway. So I'm starting with my Naples yellow with a little tad of this burnt sienna, just to give it a little bit of sort of rust in the sky. So a little bit of water, not much, because the water's on the surface, remember. That's nice. So it's, oh, look at that. So now we're going to start from off the picture. Don't start from inside like that, because then it won't travel out of the picture. So start from off the picture and just cross 2, 3, 4, 5. That'll do. That's basically it. I'll do it again, just to reiterate. 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at that. Beautiful. Now you'll need to practice this, because it's about getting exactly the right amount of paint on the brush to begin with. That comes with practice. I've lost, oh there it is, lost me rag, look. I used to normally use an old pair of underpants, but I just thought that was a bit vulgar in the end. What do you think about that? You know, a pair of old blast-throughs. Now, I'm going to take the blue into the yellow, okay? But I want to mix the blue down with some white, so it's not quite so... Oh, Sam, do you mind closing that window? Because I know it's a bit warm in here, but we can hear all that traffic. That's the cameraman.
Hello.
There's working the camera like what's it called? The what's it called of Teignmouth, we call him. The Spielberg of Teignmouth. That's what we call him. Sam Spielberg. Right, that's me blue, nicely mixed up. I'm going to turn it round and work into it this way. I like to work when I'm doing my washes at a slight angle. That's just one of my quirks. Rather than having everything going horizontal across the place, I like to come in at a corner like that, you see. Now you'll notice here, the tendency is to get to the yellow and stop. Don't. Carry it on in. Look at that. That's beautiful. Now I'm getting some funny effect up here. That's good. That's a watercolour effect. I didn't go for that. It's just happening. So that's really good. I'm enjoying that. And that is one of the beauties of watercolour, of course, is that it works for you. With the oils and the acrylics, obviously you put the paint on and it just stays there. It just remains static straight away. This, it's still moving, look, and you get these lovely effects. I tend to always go with the effect. Even if it's pretty sort of ugly, it'll still look natural. It's nothing worse than trying to get rid of things on a watercolour. Not good at all. I'm just going to give that a little bit of time to dry, probably a couple of 3 minutes, and then I'll come in and sort of do a splash of a sort of little cloud across it. So we'll come back to that in about a minute or so. Okay? Okay, we're back now. Now, I've waited about 4 minutes on this. I timed it. About 4 minutes, watching the paint dry, as it were, and now it's got to the point where I can put my cloud on. You see, if I'd have put it on any earlier, it would have been too wet, and the cloud would have just spread everywhere over the whole sky. I don't want that. I want it to hold in place, but have a soft edge at the same time. Yeah, that all makes sense. And so I'm going to get a smaller brush. There you go. Look, organisation. Can't buy it in the shops. Oh no, it's dirty. Oh. Those of you that know me know that I do this a lot. Now I've got to clean it in a sort of an emergency fashion. And I'm going to do a little cheeky thing here as well. I'm going to put some white in the sky, I think. White? You know who you are. Right, there we go. A little bit of burnt sienna, I think. And it's just going to be a little dash of something in the sky. I'm just going to sort of dart it across, sort of like that. So that's sort of what I want, and just maybe coming from out of the painting again, just a little, quite nice and quick. Nice, look at that. Just a nice little something in the sky. But here's cheeky. I've got a titanium white here. It's not top of the range, it's a student's titanium white. For real, I know you're not really supposed to use white too much as a watercolourist, but we ride roughshod over all that nonsense, don't we? So for really bright white money shots, you want to be getting a titanium white artist's quality, okay? But for just mixing and stuff, this is fine. I'm just going to do a little bit of something, look, stuck the thing to myself. Just a little dash of white in the sky there. It's quite nice, isn't it? Again, it's very quick work. Nice. Lovely, that. I'm looking forward to finishing this painting now. It's dazzling already, isn't it? Okay, right, that's the sky done. Now we're going to move on to down here, but you've got to let the sky dry. Don't go into this before the sky is dry, okay? There we are. Now my sky's all nice and dry, so I'm ready to move on. So I'm going to start off by painting these distant hills. Well, it's Dartmoor, Haytor, Saddletor, and the other fella, Rippentor, that's it. But I'm going to do that, and you will notice you can, I don't know if you can really see the line drawing there, but when I did the line drawing at the beginning, and you can look at the line drawing, you'll notice that I haven't drawn in the line of the moor, because if you did that, you'd have this horrible dark line across the top of the moors, which would kill any sort of illusion of distance that we're trying to create there. So I'm just going to paint it in, and it's going to be a sort of hue of what we've already got there, but I like just a hint, just a little hint like that of crimson. Oh, just a little hint. I'm going to carry on with this paint that I've still got left over from my sky there, because it's still nice and damp. Maybe a better look, and we're looking at something like this, I think. It's always useful to have a sort of, you know, a little bit of paper you can just, that looks about right. Could maybe do them with a bit more crimson, so I'm going to go for that. You see, look, all that time on the palette for not quite so long on the, I'm just painting it on. Oh, that's nice. That's another reason you really have to make sure your sky is dry, because if you don't, that is just going to just climb into your sky, and you don't want that. That's beautiful. I'm now going to do this wash down here. After I've done that, when we move on to this bit, we'll move in really close, as you can really see nicely. But here, it's nice to have a bit more of a view of the expansive brush strokes. Now I'm not going to do this, I'm just going to get this straight on, because I'm not going to put any blue in it, I'm just going to reflect this lot here. I can pretty much get straight on with this. I'm not going to put, oh look, there's a big green lorry just gone past. The size of it. It's carrying parcels and stuff, I think. You know, what with this Coronary Venus or whatever the thing is. Going around, people have all sorts of parcels. Anyway, that's nice. Just a little bit more for luck. I'm going to get a clean palette here. So we're going to be using the same as we used in the sky. Don't go overboard in getting the reflection exactly right. as long as you use the same colours, it'll balance out. And I like to make it darker across the bottom. So I'm going to take this brush here, and so we've got my Naples yellow look and a bit of burnt sienna. I think that's pretty much all I'm going to use for this wash down here. Simple stuff really. A sort of variegated wash again, but let's just put a bit of that in straight away so we get from off here like this, you see. You can firm up this line up to the horizon later on, I'll show you that in a minute. Oh, it's back and forth, back and forth. Oh, it's just nice to do, nice to do. Right, here we go, another little bit of Naples. I'm going to come from the bottom this time, so probably means me turning it over. I talk about this a lot, my sideways painting. I know that some people simply can't do that, as someone I know. Very good painter actually. I mention no names in this show. Who, if she had to turn things on her side to paint, I think she'd probably get dizzy and fall off a chair. In fact, I've seen this happen. Because she has to see what she's doing. That's lovely, isn't it? And that's it, simple as that. But not quite. I just want to a bit carefulier. Carefulier. Is there such a word as carefulier? More careful than careful. Carefulier. With my littler brush. Littler brush here. Clean it off a little bit. Just get this Naples, anchor my hand, and just take it right up to the line there, yeah? Oh, that's nice. And maybe just under this landmass on this side, just make it a bit darker under there like that, so that it's sort of like reflecting it into the water, do you see? Little flourish there. Did you like the flourish? Always try and paint with a flourish, like this. And don't worry about it if you don't get things exactly right. Remember, if you're not making mistakes, you're not trying hard enough. I think it was Ornette Coleman or someone that said that. Anyway, this is me just arsing around now, overdoing it. That's it. That'll do. Done. So nice little luncheon I just had there. Bit of the old sushi. So now let's proceed with the painting. Okay, look. So we're going to now look at this headland here. Okay, which is made up basically, in my world anyway, of two areas. Now, it's just basically arable land on the hillside here, and also the tree line down at the water's edge. Okay, so let me just, I'm going to go work back to front. So I'm going to start with the fields. For this, to have this dark is important, but don't fall into that trap of doing silhouette again and using greys and all that lot. It was never grey. It's green and yellows and browns. That's the sort of colour of the rural landscape, isn't it? So we'll do dark greens and dark yellows and dark browns, but not greys. It's not a slag heap. We're not going to turn this beautiful sort of evening shimmery West Country golden moment into some sort of County Durham slag heap by painting grey hills. Do you know what I mean? So look, I'm just going to do ever such a dainty little, just the smallest amount of water on there. That's just to help the paint move across it easier. Easier. Here we go. So this, oh, just gently, you're basically just filling it in as it goes towards the light source, which is in the more in the centre of the painting. It will get lighter, but it will still be nice and dark against the. Oh, I love doing this sort of thing. Now I'm going to bring in a little bit of indigo. I love that paint's great. So you nearly made the schoolboy error of bringing some grey into the painting, which I don't want because it's drab. Here we go, a little bit of the old indigo. Mix that in, and I want it to be really darker at this end. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's really meaty, isn't it? And that sort of gives a nice little shaft of light across the top of the fields there. I'm going to bring some yellow ochre in now. I'm using all sorts of colours. I mean, this is not definitive. On another day I wouldn't use yellow ochre. It's just that I felt like I was a bit of a yellow ochre day today. So here we go. Now that's nice. It's still rich paint and it's dark enough to be picked out against the back of the, what's those things called, the moors. And really, as it goes down this way, I'm going to make it nice and light here, but sort of goldeny. So the green gold is being, olive green is being picked out by the yellow ochre. Now I'm going to turn it round. That's done to my way of thinking. Make sure I've not got any paint on my hand, because I'm going to have to lean on the what's it called. I quite often like to put a piece of paper on that, just lean my hand on it. Now I'm going to move over to a smaller brush, this little 300, but it's not my best one. The reason I'm going over to a smaller one is because I need the point of my brush to pick out this ever so straight line. It's arrow straight across the painting, and I'm going to get right down on the line there. Can you see that? Shuffle it up a little bit. These are trees, so it's going to be darker again than what's behind it. See that? Nicely, nicely. And we're going to bring it. I come along here, and I get really wrapped up in this. I go, I think just about here. What would be nice would be, oh no, it's a bit too early. Hold on. There we go, nice and straight. Look at that. I'm just teasing it along the edge, constantly cleaning my brush, constantly reloading with the paints on my palette here. It's coming together nicely. I think just about here. I think if we just insert, you know, some like poplar typey things here, sort of slightly higher ones, just to give that tree line a bit of interest. So you're not just charging along like a bull in that china shop, you're giving it some thought of how you want it to look there, every little bit. Look at that. Oh, it's coming on beautifully. Now we get to this darker tone here, so in turn I will darken up my tree line. So here we go. So this is just straight brush strokes along the line. Clean the brush, get a little bit more paint on, and as I do the trees I change my action. I'm going round and round in a sort of like a tree motion. There's no such thing as a tree motion, is there? So round and round and round for your trees. Remember what it is you're painting. There we are. Look at that. If you slip over the edge a little bit, don't worry, you can just put a boat in there or something. Or as someone once famously said, when painting a picture very much like this, a blob. Mentioning no names. And then just tease him up to the end, like this. There will be detail like the fields and the tree line, but we save that to the end because there's like money shots and there we go. Look at that. Oh, jumpy. Oh, that's the cameraman, not me.
Sorry everyone.
There we are. And a nice little, there. And that's that one done. So it's got depth. From a distance it almost looks silhouette-y, but it's got depth, it's got, I think, 4 colours involved in that, so that's important. Mix your colours up. Don't use all one colour, certainly, or 2. 3 or 4 you'll need, because that's what the colour, even though it's dark. We switch it round, pretty much do the same thing here. A little trick I quite like is this. In fact, I like this bigly. That's a little wash, you see. Now I'm going to get this, it's going to be just yellow ochre. We're going to have it just there in the middle of the field, and then I'm going to work the dark around that nice little sort of sun splash, I'd call that. A little sun splash. Oh, I like that, sun splash. Oh, it's a new one, I made a new one up. It's like the reggae sun splash, isn't it? Remember that? Here we are. So, and then down this side, we're going to come up there with the field. Look at that, lovely. So it's just that little bit of light where the sun's just coming across through the fields. Just there, it's a little sunspot. Now what did I call it? Sunsplash. Oh, you've got to have a little sunsplash. Oh, now I'm going to turn him upside down and repeat the same trick over here. This is a bit closer, hence it's bigger. And there we go, really dark, look at that. Build those trees in, oh my giddy aunt. This is probably looking at somewhere just opposite Archbrook, or just before Archbrook, or maybe a lot closer actually, it's probably nearer the shoulder end actually. But it doesn't matter, I mean, you know, this can be a generic painting really. It is, I'm using the River Teign as my source. But you know, it's just a nice thing, isn't it? And you come in here, paint's going on a bit dry, sometimes that happens. But then I'm using a dry brush and dry paint just to get that nice little feeling at the edge of the trees. Yeah, there. Again, quite an oil painterly technique. Just look at you can. Oh, look at that. That's going on a bit easier now. Sometimes it goes on. It's just one of those. This what day it is, isn't it? Turns him round again. Constant turning of the painting. That's just how I work. Been a bit naughty there, trying to get up a straight line upside down. Naughty, naughty. And then we go down like that. It's okay if you do something naughty every now and again, but if you do, you must go naughty, naughty. Otherwise, you won't know that you're being naughty. You have to admonish yourself. Self-admonishment. There we are. No artist is complete without their fair share of guilt and fear and self-loathing. What drives us on. And that's that bit done. I'm nice and dry, so I can move on to this area now. I'm going to paint on the water here. Now when I'm constantly shifting the page around, aren't I? So I'm aware of the fact that you're looking at it upside down sometimes, sideways sometimes, but that's no bad thing, because what I'm encouraging you to do there is don't watch what it is I'm painting, watch how it is that I'm painting, okay? If you do a drawing of an elephant, it doesn't matter how you paint it, it's going to still look like an elephant because it's the right shape, okay? So I'm moving this round, so I want to paint a strip, a sort of half dry land, you know, where the tide's sort of maybe on the way out, maybe on the way in, it doesn't really matter. If somebody says to you when they say, oh, that looks like the sun's, that looks like tide's coming in there, you say, yes indeed, you're correct, madam. Don't know why I said madam, could just as easily be a chap, couldn't it? And and also if they say, oh, that looks to me like the tide's going out, very definitely because of the line, you say, yes, you're right. So here I go. Now I've got sort of crimson and an indigo and stuff. Just for a bit of sort of contrast and colour. I'm just gonna look at that. Oh wow. Now I'm shuffling the brush across. I'm mixing all this to make a sort of purple. I don't know if you can see that. But again, it's quite. I'm sort of letting it do itself, just making nice marks out. At the moment that I'm doing this sort of work in a painting, I'm just concentrating on the marks, on the brush strokes. Sometimes I'll finish a painting and go, oh, it's a picture of a river. I forget where I am, you know. For me, it's all about people talk about what's your favourite subject, what do you like painting best, and that's not really how it works for me. For me, it's much more. It's a weird colour, isn't it? It's just the sheer act of, you know, the act of painting that I like, that I love. So there we go. I'm shuffling that brush along, give it a bit of a clean. There we go, and that's really nice. We're setting ourselves up for the detail here. I might introduce actually a bit of burnt sienna in here. It might go a bit muddy. It's burnt. Oh, I don't want that. There, burnt sienna. When I used the green earlier, I used an olive green, didn't I? It might just easily have been a green gold, whichever comes out of the pot first, really, for me. It's much more about the tone. Remember, you want to get this bright light, you want to get that feeling. You can only really get bright light if it's against dark colours. And that's the way it works. So your light can only be as light as your darkest dark. There, look at that. I'm just sort of building that up now. Nice little shuffling motions there. Nice little shuffling motion. Oh. And then I'll dress that up with a bit more detail. Let's have a look at that. Going across it, a little bit of detail coming off the end of the headland there. It's not really a headland, is it? We'll just call it a malarkey. Right, now I'm going to do just some little dark patches at the front, some land that's poking up through the water. Always gives it a nice feel. So I'm just going to use darks. Can use greys here because this is now shells and rocks and stuff, isn't it? But I'm also going to get some burnt umber in. So, and I'm going to just, with this brush again, clean it off a little bit. Doesn't matter about all that. And then I'm going to paint like this. Beautiful. And I'm just going to, so I'm sort of painting in little blobs and dots there, aren't I? It's the spirit of what that actually is, which is little bits of rocks and shells and all that sort of malarkey, isn't it? And bits and bobettes. Now this, I'm just going to build this up like this. Dum 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 dum. And then I'll do some really detailed bits later. So I'm going to carry on with this and we'll come back in a few minutes, alright? Oh, hello again. Right, now I've dressed this up a little, well, not dressed it up, I've just completed what I started, you saw me doing. Now we're going to work a little more detail into the picture. I'm going to start at the back and move forward. So I'm going to start on this area here. And I'm going to do that by just, I don't think I'm going to bother with any hedgerows in the fields because the light sort of works really quite nicely. But you can't just have that flat. This is not a moor, this is arable land. So for this I'm going to use just greens and siennas and stuff. They're trees, you know. So get going on to all this. Now we look at this, there's 4 or 5 colours in there, you know, like I said before. It doesn't look like it, but it also doesn't look flat because there are all those colours. If you just use one colour it will look flat. But anyway, back to the present. We're working on the top here now, so I'll start down here. It's a bit too dark, lighten it up, lighten it up. So I can tell just from that little bit, and there's just a couple of trees here like that. See, already that starts to give some distance, doesn't it? See what I mean? And then a little bit here. Make it a bit darker, so as it stands out against the arable land. These are just little trees marked, and oh, I love doing this. I get totally lost. I'm turning it up this way here. This is a little, oh look at that. A little copse of trees up there, look. Pretty authentic, because I know that actually is there on the River Teign. See that? Look at that. See, it's going to we're really getting distance now. You can see, you can actually start to see to the moor because you have to go through the picture. And that's really what you want to be doing with these paintings. Is you want people to look at the painting and feel that they could sort of step into it or want to be there or get swept up by it, and you know. That's the sort of job of the artist, really, I think. There we are, little couple of ones there, might zhuzh that up later. Whilst we're here, I think I'm going to put in the old, I'm doing a money shot before I maybe should, but I can't resist it, because I might forget. If you think of something little, oh that'd be good, but really I should do that at the end. Don't do it now because you'll forget. So here we are, this, just about here, I think. Do you know what that is? That's a 637 from Penzance to Paddington. Look at that. Oh, isn't that swish? I'm going to move on to this headland now. Going to just do a little tree thing up here, I think. Let's get this yellow and this burnt sienna in. Oh, sort of just a little bit there like that. Scrub it in a little bit. So it's got it's lighter towards the edge of the tree as it's against the dark of the evening sky. Look. Down to there like that. And then it's probably a bit big and bold actually, but never mind. Doesn't really matter. There. So now we've got that sort of thing. I'll probably have a little one there to make it a little less, you know, pronounced. Now I'm going to look at this bit. These are the bits I really like. Watch this. You're going to love this. Get some burnt sienna, I think. I love to start doing these bits. Are you ready? Brush in the water, but only a little bit of water, just to loosen the paint up a bit. Then get a dollop of the old burnt sienna on the end of your thing. Get down to here, and just look at that, exquisite. But now attention to detail. Don't stop there. Get a little bit of dark. Doesn't matter what a dark is. Just a little bit there like that. When you do these bits, you have to whisper when you're doing it. Oh, there's Gary down there, out in the street, look. Doing his dutiful, putting his litter in the old, what's it called? Good boy. Well done. And now we're going to have another, I just fancy a little thing coming along here like that, don't you? Oh, just lovely, all these little bits. Now I'm going to turn him up this way. Put a bit of itch in the eye there and just bring a little something here. Now this is nothing. This is just me looking at my painting and thinking, that's a bit, this area is a bit bare, it needs something coming through it. That's all that is. That's composition. That's not observation, it's from nature and life. That's observation for what my painting needs, okay? All that stuff's very important. So you're not going to be a slave to your what's it called, source work. You're not going to be. It's a painting, you know. So if there's a bit, that's object insertion disorder. That's another one. Just because it's in your field of vision doesn't mean to say you have to put it in your picture. Object insertion disorder, very common, something we try and steer clear of. Now I'm going to just zhuzh this up, all this lot up a little bit with some more of these sort of nice thin sort of lines, very elegant lines. Just going to do some more of them here. So there we go, in the little bit there like that. Oh, nice. It's nice. And then we get this bit here like this, with maybe a bit of crimson in, and that there, do you see that? Oh. And you gradually build these little bits up like that. Keep looking at your pictures, seeing where it needs to go. At this point, say you're working from a photograph or life, you sort of stop looking at your photograph. You've got to look at your painting now and see where your painting needs zhuzhing up. And I can see from here that I need to have something coming in here, yeah? So pretty much from now, if I'm painting this from a photo or sketches or whatever, from here on in I'm probably not really going to, oh look, I just got a message. I'm probably not going to refer to my source work hardly ever again in it. Just do some tiny little dots there, see that? I turn it this way, just look at it, go, ooh, ooh, yeah, there needs, oh yes, ooh, 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 there, yes indeed, oh my god, ooh, ooh. And you need to have something there, OVS. Oh, maybe something here, just little bits, and you just gradually build it all up like this. You might look at it and say it needs a bit hard, something in there like that, something there, and just gradually, bit by bit by bit now, you're just building it up. And you're going to get to the stage, probably around about now, where you start to think, right, I need to put some hard objects in here, I need to give it a sort of narrative. You've already started that a little bit with the train there. But you need some, you know, some, like I say, some hard object. So that's what we're going to do next. All right? Excellent. So now we're looking to do some hard objects. I'm going to concentrate on one boat. I'm going to put it about there. Now, when you're doing these boats in this picture, don't think too much about getting too bogged down about it being a boat. You know, if you do that, you'd end up doing something like this. That's what you'll end up doing, so don't think boat. Alright, so think, I don't know, let's think, oh, blob, just think blob. As someone famously once said. I'll put him about there. So that's just a blob I've done there. See that? Now, let's think this is going to be simple. I'm going to have the back of the blob, sort of a burnt sienna type colour, I think. I mean, you know, people say to me, a lot of you have heard this before, how do you make your water look like water? My stock answer is put a boat on it. And then it works the other way around as well. How do you make your boats in the distance look like boats? Well, you put it on water and stick a mast on it. I'm not thinking boat here, and that's a bit darker on that side. See that? But what I'm going to do, little cheeky, what's it called? Oh, like this. Nice. Bit of white with the Naples yellow. That's on my palette there. Just put it there. I don't think you can see that. You don't need to. Cleaning my brush again. And getting just a quite heavy paint of like this. Of Naples yellow and white. And it's just going to shing down the side of there like that. So you can just see that. Just picks it out nicely. How swish is that? Then I think, just for a nice bit of colour, I'm going to get a little bit of blue. And then I'm going to do this. Ho, 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 ho. Get out of here. Then, little detail here, which I like. This is when you start getting into the painting. There's a little bit of crimson pink. It's just going to be that there. That's his little mooring buoy, right? And this is something I quite like to do with some pink or something. Just a couple of, just start dotting it up a little bit. All these little jewels. See that? That's brilliant. We're going to do 2 or 3 boats on this, I think. At the bottom of the boat, keel or the blob, I want that to be darker because that's what they are. So right across the bottom like that, see? That's beautiful. See, it's more than just going, but it's also less than trying to actually accurately, plank for plank, depict a boat. Now, to do the mast, you use your straight line drawing device, or I do. And then when somebody says to you, did you use a ruler to do that? You say, how dare you? There we are. Now I turn the picture upside down, so I'm going to be painting the line towards me. You need to practice this a lot before you start doing it on your painting. Get just about the right amount of paint on your brush. Only one way to learn that. Practice, practice. Get the feel for it. And then just ever so gradually, just tease it up there. Tease it up there. Oh, look at that. And then we look at that, and we look at how that's giving it more distance again. You can see the depth now really beginning to build up, can't you? You really can see more land, mid distance, mid ground. We're going to do a couple more boats there, but we'll do those later. What I want to do first in this shot now, whilst we're doing this, is just bring some more hard objects here. And also that gives us a chance to create a reflection, which gives another, what's it called, to the another level of reality to the fact that you're depicting water. So just imagine, I don't know, you've got something like this. And then that's reflected like that. That's great, isn't it? Look at that, it's just now brings us forward again. As we paint from the back to front, you get deeper and deeper and deeper. This is just all dirty colours I'm using here, it's not any particular colour. I'm going to have another little sort of rock like this, but when you do your reflection, make sure you do, I'm using a smaller brush for this reflection, make sure you have your reflection a mirror reflection. Remember, the reflections and shadows are 2 totally different things. So there we are, that's a reflection under there. Make it a little darker, reflection tends to be darker than the actual object. Look at that, nice. I quite like the idea, and then we've got another, what about a little one there, just doing that. Oh, isn't that sweet as a nut, right? Then, I like the idea of Getting some fresh burnt sienna here. I think that's pretty good. Oh, that's burnt umber, that's no good. No good at all. Getting some burnt sienna. Sienna's much more rusty, warm than the umber. I didn't want to make it cold. It's a warm picture. And then just get a little bit on the end, and then just trail it off the end like this. Oh, gives a sort of, just that little bit there, gives it a sense of movement, doesn't it? Beautiful. And again, let's go here. Oh, and again here. Let's have a look. And now you need to look at it as a composition and go, right, it needs something there. That's how you work it. Don't just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It will look formulated, all right? So pick your targets. It's there. There would work perfect. So just have another little rock there. So now you're just looking at ways to balance the picture up. You know that you're going to need another boat there probably, and then there'll be another one over here. They say things work well in threes. And that's generally true, but it's mainly you're talking about, you know, odd numbers. A triangle is much more elegant than a square. So, for instance, if you're having birds up here, which we'll maybe put one there, and one there, that would be a nice, elegant triangle across your painting. If you do 1, 2, 3, it's going to look horrible, and a sort of like an equilateral triangle. We don't want equilateral triangles. Oh no, it would alter the structure of the planet if we started doing that. There we are, just a little rock here. Lovely job. Oh, it's just great painting, isn't it? I mean, look at it. And now I'm into this, I'm just getting all this a little bit more. And then I'll go up here, a bit more there. And basically, we'll do this. Fill these boats in, do those 2 boats. Couple more of these harder objects. And so I'll fanny around here like this for a while. I think you get the picture. Something slightly in the water there. And then we'll come back in a couple of minutes for a sort of final zhuzhing up session. Right, so now we're going to just, we had Al Green on the radio then, sweet, oh there's Brian, look, off he goes, trundling down the street. Right, so now I've done my other little boat, my other little rocks here and stuff, a little bit more sort of dotting around and that, you know, and now I can look at my picture and go, right, let's get some sort of real little money shots in. I feel I want to have a little sort of light line coming in there a bit, so what I'm going to do is get a little bit of white. You don't want just white, that wouldn't really work. Or just sort of plain. So with a bit of Naples yellow you need to mix it. But if you just put Naples yellow you wouldn't really see it. So you need to lighten it up a little bit with white. So the white's helping the Naples is helping the white. Quite thick. Upside down for you. All I'm doing is a line. You don't have to see the picture. And just stroke it in. Caress it in. Look at that. It just adds a little bit of something, don't you think? I'm not trying to depict anything. I'm just putting in what I feel needs to go in now. If I look at it and I think, oh, I need a big blue line going across it, well, that's what I'll do. I don't think that. I think that would look ridiculous. But if I did, I'd do it. But obviously I'm not going to because... Oh, shall I? Oh, I need some light on this side now. Same sort of thing, just to break this up a little bit. So just a little bit of something there like that. So all we're doing now is the little bits at the end. You know, I talked about those before, the money shots. The bit that's going to turn it into that little gem. That little thing, what about just a little bit there like that? Oh, just, you know, that little... Oh, now we need to highlight this boat here. So just a little something there like that. Yeah? Lovely jobums. And maybe just a little, I don't know, I think we've got to look at something like, I like to get something like this. Just a little something there, just to break up that hard dark, you know? So we're just breaking into things now and crossing over and, you know, that sort of stuff. What about a little something there like that? See that? It's just nice. This is all a bit flat back here, so maybe have someone in their cottage up here has got their light on, look. And maybe a little bit of something down there, just, you know, little money shots knocking around the place. I think that's a bit abrupt, so I'm going to bring him out with a bit of the old sort of purpley, what's it called? Like that, see? So it just tapers off a bit nicely, doesn't it? Might be getting a bit dotty. It's important to know when to stop with all the dots. That's probably fine by now. Probably I do want something hard coming in this side of the picture, just to take you out, you know? Take you out and drag you in. Hold on. There we are, this little brush here. We go into all these, what's it called? There's a couple of bits I want to do, I always like to do. Just a little bit more dark. Yeah, some. And just maybe have something just coming in a bit like that. And maybe then just another little, something like that. That's quite nice, isn't it? Something there. Just to break up that line a little bit. It's nice. And then I turn him upside down because I like to do these bits. And then there's one more thing to do in this picture before we utter the immortal words. Just trying that. So that's really neat white paint just on the tip of the mast there like that. Oh my god, look at that. Wow, that's like a jewel. And the same over here. Like that. I quite also like to do just maybe a little bit of the old blue canvas on the mast that's not up, going across there like that. Maybe this wants a bit of blue there, like that. Nice. And then we go over here. Maybe we'll get a bit of the old orange. Like this, I do like a bit of the orange. Just there, a few dots here and there. Look at that. Maybe something there. Just a bit more colour, a bit more. A bit there, look. Nice. Wow. A bit there, I don't know what it is. I'm just going to finish off with a couple of birds in the sky. Now, my advice. People tend to do these really black. I don't know why. I would go with burnt sienna. And just do a couple. If you splashed a little bit of paint in the sky somewhere, it's quite handy to cover up with birds. Don't go over the top trying to paint birds, just a little, you know, a little thing like that will do you. Oh, that's a lovely bird. Right, remember that triangle thing we talked about? So this one's going to be up here. And then I think there would make a nice one. Nice triangle, wouldn't it? So now we've got 3 birds up there in the sky. A couple more dots. I think that's a bit abrupt. I'm going to give him a little zhuzh here. Just bring that orange into play again, I think, with a bit of the old thing. And just give him, so it's sort of, it's just it's a lot nicer. It cascades into the picture rather than just doof, jumping on all over the hill there. I think this is going to look much more appealing. And then get the dark here, like this, in there. I think that looks better. Maybe a little dark just in the heart of the tree. And then nothing left really to say other than sign it, frame it, flock it. Yay. Oh, there is one last thing to do. And come back. I have to take the sellotape off, don't I? Oh, oh, oh. Cleans the edge up, crispy, crispy. See what I mean? And now do the bottom bit and turn him over. And what a altogether pleasant little picture, eh? Superb. And I'll see you next time. Ta-da!